Hey there, folks. Ti Windisch of the Eurostep podcast, presented by Prize Picks here to quickly introduce a pair of interviews I conducted at Friday night's Wisconsin Herd game with former Milwaukee Buck and current Maine Celtic Tony Snell and Bucks rookie forward Chris Livingston. Tony Snell generously discussed and spoke with me at length about his fond memories of playing in Milwaukee, the love he still gets from Bucks fans, his early impressions of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Khris Middleton, and his confidence both players would reach the heights they since have, and his experience sharing his and his son's autism diagnosis with the world and the support he's received since doing so. Chris Livingston, he shared his thoughts with me on a loss for the Herd to Tony Snell's Maine Celtics that got chippy, his mentality for going for poster dunks to establish intensity on the court, why he got teed up after completing a vicious poster late in the game on Friday night, learning from veterans on the Bucks roster, including new Buck Patrick Beverley and Jay Crowder, what he's learned generally this NBA season, his first, Chris Livingston's thoughts on the G League, and more. Without further ado, here they are. I really hope you all enjoy both interviews. Tony, thank you very much for the time. It was a nice win for your Celtics tonight. What do you think made the difference against the Herd in this game?
We're just trying to get some defensive stops, try to stay poised down the stretch. They got a little run. Just try to stay poised and just finish strong.
You've spent a couple of seasons now with the Maine Celtics. What's been your experience like with the club, and what made you want to come back and continue playing with them this season?
Well, I want to grow on and off the court, using my voice, using my knowledge to help the young guys, help them better their game, while at the same time, better in my game. So just trying to do both.
I wanted to ask you about kind of that mentor responsibility. The Herd have some guys as well, Glenn Robinson III and some others who have been around, and they've talked a lot, and their younger teammates have talked a lot about how important that is. Yeah. How seriously do you take that role of using what you learned from the NBA and kind of helping these young guys in that sense?
Well, mentally for me, I feel like I've grown as just talking more, whereas in the past I stayed to myself. So it's kind of selfish if I just held in all my knowledge and not trying to, because they're the next people up. So I want to help them as much as I can and just try to show by example.
Absolutely. I'd love to take it back a little bit here, to the Bucks' perspective. When you signed with the Bucks, I believe it was 2017. What went into that decision? Why Milwaukee? And what were the early days there like when you arrived in Milwaukee to play with the Bucks?
I felt like home. I always want to play for a team that feels like home. The environment is amazing. I feel like I was in heaven every day. So I just enjoyed those moments and did the best I can down there.
I think that was Giannis' first MVP season when you were first there. What was your impression of him, in the early days when you first started playing with him? Obviously, you knew him from being in the league, being in the division too. But, obviously you knew he was going to be a great player. That season, he made All-Star. But did you expect back then to see, MVP, Finals MVP, all these things from Giannis?
Well, from the outside, when I was with the Bulls, we played him in the playoffs, and they put him at point guard. That was the start of what they're going to do next year. And I think the year after that, I went there, just seeing his hard work and how dedicated he was in the gym and perfecting his craft. I knew he was going to be a special player.
Absolutely. And then Khris Middleton, the other longtime Buck, who, of course, you matched up with in the playoffs. And I think he became an All-Star by the end of your tenure in Milwaukee, that third year there. Same question with him. Did you expect, he would end up becoming an All-Star and a player who is, there in the finals with 40-point games and all these things?
Yeah, of course. When I first got there, he was hurt. And I think I played throughout that season. But then the next year, just seeing him rehabbing and just seeing him getting his groove back, I knew he was going to be an All-Star. But those two players are amazing.
Absolutely. And, I think the Bucks are now kind of known for a family-like atmosphere in that locker room. Those guys were certainly a lot younger then, but it sounds like, it was a joy to play with them even back then, even, before they were guaranteed to be, a top of the conference team. Just what was that atmosphere like in the early days? What was it like kind of as, Giannis and Khris and these guys kind of found their footing in the league?
I just feel like, if you're having fun with the game and not treating, of course it's our job, but if you're not having fun with your job, it's not worth it. And I feel like that environment, that family kind of environment, it was just fun to play with. Just looking forward to playing with those guys, going to war with those guys, and happy for their success.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask about Bucks fans. It feels like you're a player who a lot of fans, myself included, just remember very fondly. Really liked your time with the team. Do you feel that love when you're back here in Wisconsin? Is that something that stands out to you, or is just kind of how all fans are?
Yeah, I feel like I get a lot of love, and I appreciate the time I spent there, and I appreciate the fans still supporting me after those 3 years I was with them. Just a good feeling.
I wanted to ask about, coaching change mid-season with Joe Prunty taking over. Those things all happened this year. Those things all happened to you. First, was it weird to see the same kind of guys step in the same mid-season transition? And what was it like as a player kind of dealing with that and, having to change how things go mid-season? But also, it's such a busy schedule. The games don't stop. What is that like as a player?
Well, as you come into this business, people come in and out, and you just got to just step in and do the best you can. That's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask, off court, your story has really resonated with a lot of people this year. You sharing the autism diagnosis of you and your sons. How difficult was it to share that with the world, and what has the response meant? I know you're still on this journey of trying to get back in the league and make sure that healthcare plan comes, but, from Charles Barkley on TNT and so many people trying to support, just what's this whole experience been like for you?
It's been amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a really good feeling. I still got support. It was hard for me to open up, and my wife said it's bigger than basketball, and she was right. It's bigger than basketball, and I want to help try to guide a lot of people who's in the spectrum and people that's not in the spectrum. I just want to motivate and show it's sky's the limit and just go 100% whatever you do, and great things always happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. Myself and Bucks fans everywhere are pulling for you.
Appreciate that.
Obviously not the result you wanted tonight, Khris, although you guys did make it real close late in the game. What do you think was going against you tonight against the Celtics?
I think it was just the energy thing. I feel like, down the stretch at the end of the game, we show the other team and ourselves, we're playing as hard as we can. We can make the game tight and competitive again. We're competing. When we came out lackadaisical, we just rolled the ball out and really didn't play as hard in the first half. I think that's what really got us.
Got to ask about, the poster late and the technical after, was that something, first the dunk itself before we get to the other stuff, an incredible play. You went for another pretty thunderous one. I was going to ask you if that would have been your best ever poster. Then you had one that you pulled off. Is that in that situation, like you talked about the energy, do you feel like it's important to try and get these highlight plays to get everyone moving that extra, mile per hour?
In my head, I just think it's a mentality thing. It's a highlight, but I feel like it's just finishing strong at the rim is just a mentality. And it's a certain energy that you play with. I was missing a lot of layups throughout the game. So, later on, I wasn't really getting the calls that I would like. So that's why I was just thinking, just go attack the rim, go hard and just have that mentality of just attacking them and being on the offense and not looking for a call, not, shying away from contact, just seeking the contact and just being aggressive. So that's really what that play came down to.
Absolutely. And then, ended up getting the tech after. Was that a specific something that was boiling with that player throughout the game, or just kind of a frustrating night, a chippy atmosphere, that sort of thing?
I think it was just a chippy atmosphere. It was just, type of night it was. Nothing against the player. It was just, a competitor. I was competing. I just tried to pick it up in the second half. Had a rough, rough game overall, especially the first half. So I was really just trying to still compete, still play hard, and just have that type of energy, that we weren't going away.
Going for, the dunk, the intense play versus the layups early, you had mentioned just, a tougher start to the game shooting-wise for you. Is that what you think is a smart way or the right way to kind of break out of what you may call a slump earlier in the game? Is just, see one go down with authority and then everything opens up?
Yeah, for one, I think what helped me was how I came out defensively, picking up the ball, running full court. Because, if I'm not contributing offensively, I still feel like I can make an impact on the game. So, I think me bringing that energy defensively, and then it just kind of trickled down. Basketball is about a game of energy, and, the more energy you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So I think, just me playing hard on the other side of the ball really helped me get back into my groove on offense.
You knocked down the three late that really kind of tightened things up. What's the emotion in that shot? And I've talked to you, you're confident as a scorer, everything else.
Sure.
Is that zero hesitation when you get the ball in that situation from beyond the arc?
Yeah, definitely. It's tough, having tough misses throughout the course of the game, but it's basketball. You got to have a short, what's it called?
Memory?
Yeah, short-term memory when it comes to basketball. You make good plays and make bad plays. So I think that just kind of, went into that shot is just, continuously being ready for my team. It was the right shot to shoot for my team, most importantly. So, it going down was just the byproduct of me just being ready and just staying confident.
I want to ask a more general rookie season question. Do you feel like there's a biggest lesson learned so far or I guess maybe biggest adjustment coming into the NBA this year for you?
Yeah, I feel like the more and more I play down here, it's just I learn more about myself and my teammates. Continuously, learning stuff. Seeing what I'm gonna, key in on this summer, going into the next season. This is all about getting better for me. So this is development. Coming down here, getting reps. Playing with my team, playing hard, and playing hard for my coach, and watching a lot of film and seeing where I need to improve. So I think every time I come down here, I'm getting better, and that's just the big emphasis: is development.
I asked Malachi about this last time I was here. How do you feel like the skill level of the G League is at right now? I know this is obviously your first year playing there, but it really seems like high-level competitors, guys who are just in the NBA or are in the NBA pretty much every night. Has that been your experience too?
Yeah, for sure. I think, in the G League is just, it just shows how talented the real NBA is. It's just, you come, over here, I don't want to say down here, it's over here because it's still talented here. You know what I mean? So, I'm playing against guys that I grew up, playing against in AAU, All-Americans, growing up, NBA players, NBA vets, people that was just on NBA rosters. So I think it's a multitude of talent on each, G League team, and it's just, multitude of opportunities to get better, showcase your talent, and continue to keep going. So I think it's really good, and G League's in a great spot as far as talent.
I wanted to ask a couple of Bucks questions. So Pat Bev is going viral for the podcast, sharing all sorts of great Bucks stories. I wanted to ask about, he's talked about kind of bringing more intensity to practice. That seems like something that would resonate with you. Are you getting in these games at once he's talking about, and just how do you feel about the general energy level of the Bucks right now and the Herd?
Yeah, I love it. That's what my mentality was, coming into my rookie year, coming into with the Bucks is, knowing like I'm trying to establish myself defensively and energy-wise. I feel like I hang my hat on my motor. So I feel like, going into training camp and, through all the practices, that's what I wanted to showcase. And when you have guys that's like-minded, like Pat Bev and, the other rookie, Andre Jackson, I feel like we complement each other in that way. We just play hard as hell. And I just like, having somebody like Pat that I can learn from, he's always giving me game on the bench and things like that. And just having somebody around that matches that energy, I think is great for the atmosphere of the team and also just great for the atmosphere like on the court. Because guys are going to be competing and it's going to be contagious, that type of energy. So I think it's really, really good.
Absolutely. And then I wanted to ask you, you kind of mentioned learning from Pat. Has there been a particular player? There's obviously so many great skilled vets on this Bucks roster.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Has there been one or all of them?
Yeah.
That for you in particular that you've been able to learn and take from. Is it really all of them? Is it different things from all of them, or is there one that stands out?
I'm really trying to take away a little bit of everything from everybody. And what's great is about the team is like the vets are so open to like talk to us young guys. They really hold nothing against us when we come up to them and approach them, and also go out their way to approach us and like give us some game too. When we don't initiate the conversation. So I think that's great. And I've been learning a lot from like Jay Crowder, who's a wing. Been in the NBA for years. What I'm saying, like ever since I was a kid. He's been in the league, a lot of them actually. So.
Do they appreciate it when you point that out, or maybe not?
I mean, probably. I don't, age-wise, probably not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think it's a credit to them and their hard work and their work ethic and how great players they are. Just being able to, stay in the NBA, because it's very hard. So, I'd be a fool to not, pick up a lot of, game from these great vets that I got on my team. So I'm just going to continue to keep learning, continue to just, let the things that they have to teach me just rub off on me.
Absolutely. What's the key to turn it around here next time out for the Herd? And, if the team is able to make the playoffs, I know it's really close right now. Yeah. Would you be interested, obviously if everything lines up with the Bucks in playing in a playoff game here?
Yeah, I want to play, most importantly. So, Bucks, Herd, getting games is something that I'm trying to, be a part of, So just trying to get wins, stack them together. I think most importantly, when we play with energy, when we play hard on the defensive side of the ball, we're so talented offensively, all that's going to come. So I just feel like tomorrow we're just going to, hang our hat on the defensive side of the ball, energy. We're going to try to turn it around that way, and I think everything else will take care of itself.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone. One last reminder that if you use promo code EuroStep at prizepicks.com/EuroStep, you can get a 100% first deposit match up to $100. While I'm saying this, Rohan is probably cooking up more winning plays. This is during Bucks Bulls, so you have to check his Twitter feed at Arcadi Jr. to confirm, but probably so you can get it on the action too at Prize Picks, our partner, presenting sponsor of the Eurostep and Win in 6. So use promo code Eurostep at prizepicks.com/Eurostep. And if this is your first time listening, we'd love to have you join us more often. Go ahead and subscribe, whether you're on your podcast platform, whether you're on YouTube, or preferably go subscribe on both and check out gspn.info for all of our links, including our Discord and social links, all the good stuff there. So thank you again for listening or watching. Until next time, Pod Random.